Hey guys, we finally got the patch notes, so now that we know which character got buff and which character got nerfed, we can finally talk about rerolling. Just so you know, there is no guest account in this game, which means that it's not gonna be as easy as usual from like other game to reroll in this one. Also, the emulator are not supported, so you cannot open multiple instances of the game to reroll multiple accounts at the same time. I'm gonna leave you the link in the description of this website, which in my opinion has the best rerolling guide that we have available out there. And so let's just start and check how it works. Basically, you're gonna need to use, if you have, it's very highly advised to use a Gmail account. This because with the Gmail account you don't need to have multiple different email accounts. You can just use the main one, like the one that you already have, and just add the number in front of your email. So for example, if this was your email, you just add +1, so plus the symbol and the actual number. It can work, as they say here, with other way, but it's easier to just do it with number to keep track of everything. And by doing that, you will still receive the email of the account in your main account, in your main email address. So this way, with just one address, you can do multiple accounts, you can create multiple accounts, and then when you finally find what you want, you can just link the account to your email, and that's it. It sounds more difficult than it actually is when you explain it. So again, just follow the guide that you're gonna find here in this website, and again, I'll leave the link in the description, and you're gonna be fine. They also give you some interesting information, like how long is the reroll process, how it works, the code that I'm sure they're gonna update, because there's probably gonna be new code when the game actually launch for the official. And also they tell you the various like activity, the various things that can give you the prototype to roll. So I think this is very, very good guide. And now they also talk about the unit, but we are going to talk about the unit here from gonna start from Lily. So let me just show you very quick. So in the game, you want to reroll for SSR that are light or dark attributes, so one of these 6 characters. Everything else is not a good target for reroll, in my opinion, so I'm not going to talk about that, because you have the selector banner. You can also roll quite a good amount of roll, even if you're free to play. So we are going to focus on the light and dark character. You probably already know, but just in case someone is very, very new, let me tell you, you can find the light and dark character in the standard banner. So in the permanent banner, you don't have to roll in the rate up banner for the light unit, that is going to be Messiah, and you don't have to roll in the specific light and dark banner summoning only, because you can find them in the permanent one. So roll in the permanent banner and see what you can find. And I would say ideally the target are going to be Mio. For the light, Messiah is very good DPS, but you don't need him to progress. Compared to the other character, at least it's not that necessary. And then we have Doki Doki. Again, Doki Doki is also very, very good, but her value compared to the other 3 characters that we're going to talk about in this video is not as good, especially for early progress. Late game, she become much, much more useful and stronger. But early game progress is not that necessary. Then there is also Shadow Sanya, which again, it's a very, very strong DPS. Not many people probably had the chance to test damage over time team. They're very, very good, and Shadow Sanya is the core of this kind of team. The problem is that she requires a lot of investment, and also you would have to invest into some character that probably, like in the standard progression for the game, you wouldn't usually touch, like Fungus, for example. And so unless you specifically want this character because you like the design, or because you are confident that you can make a very strong damage over time team and you want to progress with that in PvE, I wouldn't say Sanya is a good choice. And the other 2 good choices actually that we're going to discuss in the video are Lily and Einrich. So we're going to talk about Lily, Einrich, and Mio, which is the new character that they recently add, and is going to be available from the start, so in the permanent banner. And we're gonna start with Lily. So in my opinion, Lily is gonna be the main target for most people. And the reason is that Lily is a character that you can put into any team for any mode, and you're gonna get an amazing value out of that, because she can just play everywhere and she can fit any team. And the thing is, she's the most advised character, I would say, for people that maybe don't have a lot of experience with this kind of game, so team building game, people that maybe didn't have a chance to play the beta, so they're not like they don't know how the game actually work by playing it. Of course, you probably watch a lot of video, but it could be different when you actually start to play the game. You could get confused, and Lily is definitely going to be the easiest choice to progress fast and safely in the game, I would say. So for everybody that is like a beginner, or just don't want to do anything too specific, Lily is the best one. And we're gonna check very, very fast the skills, so that if you're new, you understand why she's such a good character. We're gonna start with skill number 2, because it's the skill that usually, not always, but usually you use for like to start the rotation of this character. And keep in mind that all the information that you see here are when the skill are maxed out. So for example, when you read here 100% chance to assist, it means that the skill is level 5, because this is when you actually get 100% chance of assist, which is not what you're gonna have when the game comes out, because it's gonna take a while to max out the skill, but just so you know. And so skill number 2 is the best one because it's gonna apply Twin Trick. Twin Trick is amazing because it increases the effect older storm meter by 30%, so it's gonna push his storm meter up. And Lily can only apply this effect to one target other than herself at the same time, and this effect is removed if Lily dies, so keep that in mind, that if she dies, this buff goes away. And this is beautiful because it's the main thing from this character, and you can make some crazy good combo with that. And other than that, she's gonna apply a 2-turn speed buff to all allies, which is amazing speed, especially after this patch where a lot of turn control character got nerfed. Speed is gonna be even more important than ever, in my opinion. And if the target already has Twin Trick, instead applies 3 turn of crit damage plus, and immediately start the next turn. So basically, they can just skip 1 turn and start right away. They skip everybody else that is on the turn meter before them. And they also have the buff for crit damage, which is obviously that's what you want to have for your DPS, especially the one that play on crit, which is almost everybody except some character like Born and other particular character, like for example Rahu. But skill 2 is very solid, very good. Then we have skill 3, which is damage to all enemies, and then has a 55% chance to extend all skill cooldown by 1 turn. So for the enemy, for example, that means that if you start actually the rotation with skill 3, which is not advised, but sometime in PvP you can actually do that as a combo, the enemy is gonna have all the skill in cooldown already. If you trigger the 55% chance, of course, it's not 100% because that would be too strong. But if it triggers, everybody is gonna have a cooldown in their skill from turn 1, basically. And this is absolutely amazing to slow down the opponent. And also immediately reset all the skill cooldown for the allies with Twin Trick. This is why you want to use skill 3 after skill 2. Because, for example, you can find a short in my channel where I use Lily with Messiah in PvP. And basically the combo is that you start with Lily because she's you should be the fastest character in your team, or at least one of the fastest character. And then she's gonna apply Twin Trick on the DPS. The DPS in my case was Messiah, is gonna do skill 3, which was AoE damage. And then when it's Lily's turn again, she's gonna do skill 3, reset the cooldown for Messiah. Messiah then can do the skill 3 again, and that's like a stupid amount of damage in a super short amount of time. Very good skill. And then we have skill 1, which is also amazing, and this is why this character is so good, is single target damage, and then a 50% chance to boost both her own and the lowest turn meter allies, 20% turn meter, so again, she pushed the turn meter up. And the allies with Twin Trick have a 100% chance to assist in battle. Of course, this is again level 5, and assist in battle, it just means that that character is gonna go for skill 1 attack, so basic attack, on the character that just got attacked by Lily. And this is beautiful because you can do so many good combo here, because a lot of character, like again Messiah, I was speaking about him, he has a debuff on skill 1. So you're not only gonna do the damage, but you're also gonna have an extra chance to apply the debuff from his skill 1. This also work with other characters that are not DPS, for example Viper. So for those who don't know, Viper is a character that build is passive on the skill 1. So when he does the skill 1 like 4 or 5 times, I forgot, I think it was 4, then the skill 1 is gonna transform into his skill 3 as a passive, as a counter attack. So that's absolutely amazing. She's very good with character like that have some strong gimmick, like something good going on in the skill 1. So she works very well with literally any DPS in the game, and that's why it's so easy to make team with Lily, and like she can just fit every team. And again, for general progression, I would say this is the best character. If you find Lily, it's 100% very good to start the game, and I would assume this is the most popular choice for most people. Then we have Einrich. I don't think Einrich is underestimated by people. Like everybody that play the game knows how good Einrich is. It's just that Lily is so popular and so famous that he probably get noticed a little bit less, but Einrich is super good, he's ridiculously good. I would say for people that, again, are not very confident in their skill in this game, they should go for Lily. If you know what you're doing and you know how to play the game, you have experience, even if you didn't play the beta of Etheria Restart, if you know how games with team building work, and you know how they progress in PvE and stuff like that, you probably can pick Einrich instead of Lily, because Einrich is the best character to build Team for Inferno, which is the highest difficulty, especially is the highest difficulty for both module farming, which is the equipment, and also shell farming, which is the pet for every character. But in general, I would say, like especially for module farming in Inferno difficulty, for Terror Maton, which is the one that drops modules, so equipment for DPS, and Aurora, which is the one that drop modules, so equipment for PvP and endgame. it's Einrich is the best character to have in your team because he does an amazing job at everything that he does. And we're gonna see from skill 1 because I want to introduce you to this debuff first, and then we can talk about everything else. And again, all these skills, keep in mind, are maxed out. You're not gonna have the maxed out skill early in the game, but eventually you will. And so the skill 1 is single target damage with a 45% chance to inflict 1 turn block, and block means that the target cannot gain buff. This is already very, very good. Then he has a passive that applies not only for the skill 1, but for literally every attack, so every skill that Einrich has and does, which is Reaper's Gaze. And basically each time Einrich attack has a 50% chance to dispel 1 buff from the target. If the target has no dispellable buff, has an 80% chance to inflict 1 stack of Last Word lasting 3 turns. And Last Word is increase crit damage taken and the chance of crit hit by 7% up to 4 stack. So let's analyze this stuff here because it's amazing. 50% chance to dispel 1 buff. This is super important. This is why he is amazing in Terrormaton Inferno and Aurora Inferno, is because these guys, like this boss, are going to have immunity, and you need to strip that immunity as fast as possible and more than one time, because for example in Aurora it's very easy for the boss to get back the immunity. So you don't want a character that do it only once and then it's like it goes down in a cooldown and you get stuck if the boss gets the immunity back. You want a character that can do it multiple times, and Einrich is the best one in the game when it comes to that. And then this applies, by the way, this applies with also skill 3 and skill 2. So it's gonna do it, he has a chance, a 50% chance to do it every time he attack someone. And then it's, in case there is no buff to dispel, there is a 80% chance to inflict Last Word, which is amazing because it's basically a debuff that is going to improve the damage of everybody in the team, but especially, of course, your DPS, because they're going to have more chance to do critical hit. And then when they do critical hit, they're going to do more damage, more critical damage. So it's amazing, and it stack up so well with other character like Biontin, which has like a buff that increases also critical damage. It's so good. You can make so many good combo with Einrich to improve the damage of your DPS. So very, very amazing skill 1. Then let's move to skill 2. Skill 2 is 3 different attack. One is like 180% damage to a single enemy, 180% damage to a random enemy, 100% damage to all enemies. If the target has no buff, that can be dispelled. So again, you can actually dispel with every one of these hit. There is a 65% chance to inflict 2-turn wound, and wound means that the target cannot receive healing. This is amazing not only for PvP but also for PvP, because when the meta is gonna change from speed to more like a tanky meta where people have immunity, they have maybe a lot of sustain, they use multiple healers, this is gonna become big. Having wound in your kit, in your team, is gonna become very, very useful for PvP, in my opinion. So this skill is also very, very good. And then we have skill 3. Einrich unleash basically like some attack, dealing 3 hit of 100% damage to all enemies, so this is important. And when the final hit, has a 65% chance to inflict a 2-turn block. Again, we mentioned before, it means the target cannot gain buff. And every 1 stack of Last Word on the target, which you can apply with everything it does. It increases the skill crit damage by 30%. Now, this is also one of the reasons why Einrich is so good, because he's a debuff character and a strip character, so dispel character, but he can also be built as a DPS. Like he also has a very, very good damage. So he does a lot of stuff, and on top of that, he also have very good damage. It's an amazing character, and again, I know Lily is the more popular choice, but if you want to farm Inferno as soon as possible, as efficiently as possible, straight away from the early game, from the first week, I would say, it's gonna take probably at least a week for everybody that is rushing to reach Inferno. If you wanna farm from like early game Inferno, so that you can kind of like snowball affect your progress, like you're gonna start to farm Inferno very early, so you can drop a very strong module for end game, and then you can build your character faster and stronger before other people, so you're gonna be stronger in PvP, and you can also progress more and have a short clear time in everything in PvE. Really, I think Einrich in that case is the best character, is better than Lily for that kind of player. Again, if you don't know, maybe you don't have experience with this kind of game, or you just don't want to think too much about team building and stuff like that, you can go for Lily, easiest character in the game, because you can just put her into literally any team. If you want to be, like, if you're more specific and you want to try hard, you want to be very competitive and you want to be high in the ranking, Einrich is probably a better choice, at least for early game, because is gonna allow you to farm Inferno much easier compared to Lily, in my opinion. In particular about Terrormaton and Aurora, you don't really need him that much for Doki Doki, but again, Also, Lily arguably is not super important for Doki Doki. They both work very well, also for Doki Doki, of course, because they're just that good, but they're not mandatory character for Doki Doki. But for Terror Maton and Aurora, Einrich is kind of like mandatory for Inferno. Eventually, everybody will have a character strong enough, built up properly enough to do Inferno, even without Einrich. But if you have Einrich, you're going to do it much faster and much better. So that's my take on Einrich. Then we're going to talk lastly about Mio. Now, I didn't make a video about the patch note because I don't know if you guys are interested. If you want a video about that, you can tell me in the comment, but you can probably just watch other people's video about that. But the reason why I'm including Mio in this video is because here you can see the patch note of today when I'm recording the video. And as we expected, Kraken got nerfed and Marvel especially got nerfed. And I'm very salty about the skill cooldown part for Marvel. And yeah, I would say I made a video about Lily against Mio when it comes to rerolling. It was the video prior to this one. And yeah, as we also said in the comment, it's probably this happened because they introduced Mio. Like, they introduced Mio because they knew they were gonna have to nerf Marvel and Kraken, and that's why now that they nerf both of them, now she has more value and she's more important in the game compared to before. Because yeah, Marvel and Kraken, they can do what Mio does, but especially now that Marvel got nerfed a little bit heavier than Kraken, I would say skill 3 from Mio becomes more important. Now, for those who don't know, Marvel and Kraken had this like insane combo together because Marvel was controlling turn meter and Kraken was doing amazing CC, which is freeze, and when the character is frozen, they cannot gain turn meter, so it was amazing and keep both in PvP and PvE. I was keeping the enemy team stuck without the chance of like playing the game actually. And because of that, they both got nerfed, and then they introduced Mio. Mio is basically as a kit of both this character. Now let's start with the skill 3, which is the most interesting one for Mio. And skill 3 is basically damage to all enemies, 65% chance to steal the main target turn meter by 50%, and then redistribute. Jesus Christ, my English today is being tested. 25% turn meter from other target among all allies. So, as someone pointed out in the previous video, is the main steal of turn meter is on the main target, but then she also steal the turn meter from everybody else, from the other target, and it gives it back to everybody in your team, and also grant all allies speed plus, so speed buff, for 2 turns, which is a 30% speed. Now, a quick comment about the patch that we got today. I think the direction that they want the game to take is more about speed buff and speed debuff compared to turn meter control, because if you notice, almost every character that was good at controlling turn meter got nerfed a little bit on that side, on that topic. And even character that didn't need to nerf, like Dyna. Like, nobody would use like Dyna to be a problem in PvP when it comes to turn meter, and in PvE she was fine. Like, she didn't need a nerf. Like, let's be real. They nerfed the turn meter because they want to push speed, in my opinion, and character with speed, which is surprisingly enough, a lot of them are light and dark, like Doki Doki, Mio, Lily. And so this is just my take on the patch note and what's happening, but I could be wrong. Maybe it's like a conspiracy theory. But yeah, I think that's the direction we're going, and that's why skill 3 of Mio became more important. And then skill 2 and skill 1 are very similar. Skill 2, we don't have much information, but it's a freeze for, I think this one was the AoE freeze. Yes, this one is the AoE freeze, similar to Kraken, and then skill 1 is a single target freeze. And now, do I think Mio now is more important than Lily? No, I would say Lily is still better, and Einrich is still better for those who want to farm fast Inferno and higher difficulty PvE in general. But she definitely has a spot now as a third best option for reroll, in my opinion. And the thing is, the argument that we made before for Mio not being important as much as the other character was that even if she's good at what she does, you can just use Kraken and Marvel as a substitute. You can still do that, but now Marvel, we don't know how heavy is the nerf, like how much is going to impact in the game, because when the game will come out, I will try to build Marvel again. And for those who don't know, in the first week you can reset character. Only the first one is free, then you have to pay with Crystal, but I think I'm gonna build Marvel, see how it goes, and then if it's affected too much by the nerf, I will reset him. And if I reset him, there's nobody as good as him to control turn meter now, except Mio. And I would probably still go for Kloss over Mio, if I have to be honest, if I find Kloss, which is gonna be much easier than Mio. But yeah, now Mio is more important. Let's just say, I would still think Lily is better, but if you don't want Einrich and you find Mio and you don't find Lily, then you can go for Mio. arguably now she's gonna make your life much easier to progress overall in the game, especially in PvE. And that's it really for my take on this topic. Now that we got the nerf and Mio is more important, that's how I would see the thing. I would still say priority for most people is gonna be Lily. If you find Mio and you don't care about Einrich, you can just stop rerolling, because it's gonna be a little bit annoying since we don't have guest account and it's gonna take a while because you also cannot use emulator. You can just go for Mio and it's gonna be a very, very good start. But if you can, just go for Lily. In my opinion, she's gonna be better. And if you are super competitive and you wanna clear Inferno as fast as possible and be super efficient and min-max everything, then just go for Einrich. Of course, if you find the two of any of these three characters, your account is basically set to be amazing, because if you have Einrich and Lily, or Einrich and Mio, or Mio and Lily, it's gonna be amazing. You're gonna progress so much faster. But yeah, that's it for this video. I hope it was useful. Let me know in the comment if you have a different opinion. Also, what you think about this patch. And yeah, thank you for watching the video. I hope to see you in the next one, and have a good day. Bye bye.